I'm sure all of you saw Sony shoot themselves in the foot last week by trying to require a PlayStation Network account for Helldivers 2, but just how much money did they lose? Let's find out. So there are three areas I'm going to discuss about their losses. The first is the implicit losses, such as the bad attitude towards the company after their behavior and so on. The second is the loss of the very possible Game of the Year award and the things that entails. And third, and I think this is the most important, the actual loss of money, including the loss of stock prices and the loss of money from refunds. So first, I have never been a huge fan of Sony, especially after their behavior with a situation involving Fortnite and account linking a long time ago, if anyone remembers that. But now, Sony continues to do stupid stuff, like the Helldivers situation. For those unaware, Sony effectively just took the game away from over 175 countries after allowing them to buy and play the game for nearly 2 months. While Sony did walk this back, they're still not allowing people in those countries to even purchase the game on Steam anymore. This is the reason their stock prices are still declining, as well as a Ghost of Tsushima thing that I'll mention later. But this will for sure hurt the likelihood of being the publisher of other games, as well as hurting the public's attitude of the company in the long run. This isn't really an easy thing to assign a monetary value to, so I can't provide you with a number on this. However, it's a big enough loss that it's worth noting in this video. Now, the second loss is a similar situation where it's hard numerically, but I do actually have some numbers here for you. So according to this study that I found, 60% of the people in the study said that they had purchased a game based on its success or awards from the Game Awards. Now, I have no clue how accurate or scientific this study is, and the number being a flat 60% does not do anything to ease my worries about the sample size, but it's what I have. I was also able to find this, which is the impact on Baldur's Gate 3 after it won Game of the Year last year. It seems that the increase started when the voting started, however the increase is very noticeable, indicating that the Game Awards boosted the number of players playing the game and most likely the number of people buying the game. All of this is to say that the damage Sony has done will probably cause them to lose their Game of the Year potential, causing them to lose out on more sales and more players. And now, the moment I'm pretty sure most of you have been waiting for, the actual monetary loss of Sony. Now, there are two numbers here. One is the decrease in stock price, which is the biggest hit, and then there's the projected loss of money due to the refunds that Steam allowed. To reward those who made it this far, I'm going to start with the fun one, the stocks. So, after some quick searching, these are the numbers that I have produced. Sony has 1.23 billion shares outstanding, and before the big loss that we see here, the stock price was $84.84. Great number. But when you multiply these numbers together, you get the total market cap, or in common terms, the total worth of the company minus their assets, which I'm not going to include in this video. This number was $104 billion. Now that is more money than everyone who watches this video has combined by a long shot. But you're not here for how much equity they have. What we want to know is how much they've lost. So the stock price at the bottom of the drop is $75.31, which is $9.53 fall. This really may not sound like a lot, but this equates to around 11% drop in total stock price. I won't bore you with any more math. This means that all of the shareholders of Sony lost a total of $11.7 billion, which is also more money than everyone watching this video combined. Like, imagine I give you, say, $100. That's pretty cool, right? Now imagine I give you a briefcase with 10,000 $100 bills in it. That's crazy. That's so much money, right? Now imagine I have 100 of those briefcases in the back of a truck. We are really cooking now. Keep this cute little physical comparison picture for you. You see how much money that is, right? Now imagine 117 of those trucks. That is how much money we are dealing with here. And now it's gone. Poof. Sony is a very profitable corporation, so they'll end up earning this money back. Slight disclaimer, Sony is much bigger than PlayStation, and there are other things going on outside of gaming, like a deal with Paramount. However, all glory belongs to Super Earth, so we will claim this all as ours, okay? And now, imagine being Sony and saying, actually, I want to lose more money, because they just did that by making Ghost of Tsushima unavailable in all of those countries we talked about earlier. If you're one for investing, this is probably a pretty good low to buy into, but do not take that as advice. I am not legally allowed to give investment advice. So this is definitely not what I'm doing here, so don't do that. Anyway, now I'm going to make very big assumptions about the refund stuff. Over the course of the 4-day situation, there were a total of 218,285 negative reviews on Steam. I went back, this number might be a little higher, give or take. It keeps changing when I look at it, but there's no way to know how many people actually refunded the game. So what I will do is give you a large range with some key points. Now, the lowest case scenario is probably around 10% of those negative reviews refunded. A lot of people were literally not allowed to play the game anymore, so it makes sense that we'd have more than just a couple of refunds. So at 10%, there would be close to 22,000 refunds, which would result in $873,000 being refunded. That's more money than some people ever see in their life, by the way, and that's the lowest scenario. The next step is going to be 25%, which is around 54,000 refunds. That gives about $2.2 million refunded. Any of you math-savvy people already see that 50% and 75% will be $4.4 million and $6.6 million respectively. While I think it's actually impossible that more than 75% refunded, just for the sake of big numbers, I'm going to calculate what would happen if every single negative review over the whole video game lifetime refunded. Now, the total number of negative reviews is actually harder than you think it would be, as Steam says that out of the total 632,000 reviews, only 26 are negative, but this would mean that there would be only around 164,000 negative reviews. But as I said earlier, there are over 218,000 negative reviews according to the graph. I think this has to do with people switching their negative reviews to positive, but anyway, I estimated around 250,000 negative reviews over the whole lifetime, with some less than perfect math. This would give us around $10 million in refunded money, which isn't even one of the trucks we talked about earlier. That just goes to show you why shareholders care only about their stock prices and not the actual sales of the company. One other thing I'd like to touch on real quick is Xbox, also another company kind of related to Sony, at least through the lens of the console war, just decides to make also bad decisions, which is why so many get away with it, because if two competing companies are making bad decisions, there's not really much agency, especially for console players, which does suck for them, but they're not generally the ones getting shortchanged, it's just the corporations making bad decisions. The Xbox bad decision I'm talking about is the sunsetting of the dev team that made Hi-Fi Rush, which is a very popular and well-received game. I don't want to get into this, I just wanted to bring it to attention that corporations just continuously make bad decisions involving their games. Everywhere, all over the place. So if you are ever going to produce a game, just be careful with who your producer is, because it really seems like a lot of them suck. I'll try to leave a link down to a tweet that has some information if that's something you're interested in, but I know that's not for a lot of people. Anyway, enough financial jargon. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. See ya!